Hello and welcome back to another video. I just want to start off this one by saying thank you so much for showing such a positive response and support for my channel already and helping me get this new YouTube thing started. I really appreciate it. And on that note, I just want to highlight that I've been reading your comments and I've been receiving some great feedback. Firstly, in terms of the audio quality, I found this room in my office that happens to be soundproof, just hoping it will improve the acoustics. Also, I've invested in this little lapel microphone, so again, hopefully that should improve the audio. Secondly, the topic of this video actually comes from quite a few of you wanting to know how you can get a pay rise, and I think as we head into a new month, year and decade, it's really coming to the foreground that people are thinking about what's ahead and what they want to achieve. Okay, let's get into it. When you first start to think, hey, I deserve a pay rise, very often that can be quite emotionally driven. Perhaps you're angry or frustrated. So my first bit of advice here is to remove that emotion and really come back to the why. Why do you think you deserve a pay rise? And ultimately the answer should be because you are worth more to your employer and the business since you last got a pay rise, or perhaps you've joined the company and haven't had one yet. So perhaps you've learned a lot and yeah, you are owed more cash. The next step is to think about research. How do pay rises happen in your company? Should be one of the first questions that you ask. Is it an annual cycle or a particular time of year that your performance is assessed, and is that tied to compensation increases? For example, the company I currently work at has that similar format, but businesses I've worked at before, pay rises and promotions are much more ad hoc and based on perhaps significant performance increases that you've laid out with your managers. So yeah, figure out what that cadence might be. Also, think about who is going to be the decision maker in that pay rise decision. Is it your manager? Is it their manager? Is it the HR team? So yeah, figure that all out because you really need to understand who you need to persuade. Then you need to build your case. Start thinking about proving why you are more valuable to the business. Come with lots of examples about how you've really hit your job description, perhaps over and achieved on that, helped other departments, mentored other people, or perhaps taken on other side projects. Ultimately, I think though the value comes in if it's actually possible to quantify the work you've done and how that has increased the bottom line of the business. Essentially, how's that made the company more revenue and more valuable? You want your pay rise discussion to be at the right time and in the right place. What I mean by that is don't just decide one day that you deserve a pay rise and then the next day flag your manager at their desk and bring it up with them there. Perhaps start with an email to say you're thinking about this and that you're very much wanting a pay rise, and then book some time in that decision maker's calendar to put your thoughts forward. They know then that they're in for that discussion, and also before then perhaps they can delve into finding out other information like speaking to your manager, speaking to your colleagues about your performance and really getting that in mind. Ultimately the point here is though, make sure you're in a good spot to have that discussion. I think it's really important in the conversation, like I mentioned at the start of the video, to remove the emotion from the conversation as much as possible. And also stay in a positive mindset. Don't dwell on the negative that you haven't had a pay rise yet. In fact, focus on the facts and build that case into why you should. And when you have finished, be silent. The power of silence is really important and it's a brilliant negotiation tactic, but it allows that person some time to really think about your points and go through it. That silence can often be awkward, but yes, once you've made your points, just leave it there and see how they respond. At the end of the conversation, you should make sure it's followed up in writing. Really, the conversation should have two outcomes. The first outcome is the one that you wanted. They say, yes, we're going to give you a pay rise. The second will be, no, we're not going to give you a pay rise. But in each situation, you want to get something in writing. For the yes, we're going to give you a pay rise, get that in writing. Try and, as hard as you can, to get a set figure and a date, so that if it hits that date and it's gone past you, you can pull that up. If it's a no, then you want to understand why. Why aren't you eligible for a pay rise? Is it as simple as the timing of the year, or is it actually due to your performance? And if it is due to your performance, make sure you get your goals and objectives agreed upon and laid out in some form of writing, so that when you do hit those targets, then you can use that again to bolster your case for a pay rise. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I love a discussion in the comments, so please fire away. And yeah, if you can like this video, that really help get this video circulating with others who might find this advice useful. And as always, if you could subscribe, then 2 thumbs up. All right, thanks, bye.